Hey, what's up, everyone? I'm your host, William Dunbar. This is Let's Learn Cloud AWS Edition, and we're going to learn EC2 instances. EC2 is a AWS service. Ironically, it's actually an acronym. ECC or EC2 is Elastic Compute Cloud, and it's a set of VMs essentially. It's a virtual environment that you can spin up with an operating system. So the agenda for today is we're going to create an instance. We're going to create a little web server that runs on it, and then go from there. So without further ado, I'm just going to share my screen, and we're going to go to town. So we're going to share. I'll share my window here. All right, and I'll move this stuff, even though I know you can't see it. All right, so we're looking at the EC2 dashboard, if it wasn't any more obvious. And you can get there. If you're not there, you can just go up here and just type EC2, and then click on EC2. And then you'll come up to this. This is your dashboard. Instance running, instance that you created in the past that aren't terminated yet. Elastic IPs. And then the important thing to note here is on the left-hand side, you have your navigation dashboard or menu. And we're going to start by going to EC2 instance running. And then we're going to create one, of course. So the first thing you're going to do is launch your instance. And we're going to take the default one here at the top. It's a free tier eligible. So if you're learning with a free account, this would be good for you. Always 164-bit x86, not ARM. So we'll select that. We're going to T2 micro because first one is tier 2 eligible here. And we're going to go to configure instance details. And here you have a bunch of options. The number of instances, you can create more than one if you wish. Your default network here, notice it's a VPC and it says default. So when you create an AWS root account, you get a VPC, whether you like it or not. And it's called default, and it's a random name. Your subnet, you don't have a preference, so it'll always pick one if you don't tell it to. As far as I'm concerned, and I took some notes to see if which would be best. This actually doesn't matter, so you can pick the one closest to you. I'm going to set it to none because I don't care. But if you're in the West Coast, you can pick a West Coast one. But these subnets or these for these AZs, they're determined by your region, which is here. So I'm in US East 1 right now. So I have all US East subnets. But if you're in West or something, this will be different for you. So I'm going to do no preference, though. I do want auto-assign, for sure. And I don't care about the capacity, and I'm not joining it to a domain. IAM role, we don't really care yet. But an IAM role is like an overarching set of rules and policies that you can attach things to. Well, you attach policies to a role, but right now we don't care, and we don't even have one. So when we shut it down, we want to stop, not terminate. Now, here's where it's important to decide whether you care about this or not. An important aspect of EC2 is that it is ephemeral, meaning the EBS volume that gets created when you start up an instance. If the instance is terminated, that EBS volume is gone forever. It's not coming back. So there's a termination protection here, and you can click on that. And what that means is when you go to terminate your instance, you'll have to actually stop the instance, edit the termination protection to turn to off, and then terminate it, which means it's very intentional that you delete it. I recommend doing this if you're not used to EC2, because sometimes people don't understand the difference between stop and terminate, and you could accidentally terminate your instance. So it's pretty good to check it. I'm going to leave it off just because. All right, so we're taking all the defaults here. The only thing we're changing is here in the advanced details. We have a thing called user data. User data is a set of commands that will run on the first boot only, meaning when the instance is first created, this is what will run. It is not, once it happens, it won't change. And thus, if you do something wrong, you have to actually rebuild the entire instance if this instance data is wrong. So we're actually going to make a web server. And we're going to do, I have some pre-made commands. I'm going to paste it. Now, this is a good example of what would happen if you mess something up. So if I were to save this right now, we'd be in trouble because nothing would happen. Notice that when I paste, it pastes it all on one line. But these are different commands, so we have to separate these. First is a shebang and then a bed bash, meaning it's going to be a bash script. I have yum install -y, meaning accept it as yes. And we're installing HTTPD. System control or systemctl. We're enabling HTTPD because we installed it. And then we start it. So the web server is now running. So now you have to do, if you were just to save it and launch it, you actually would get just a straight up Apache web page. It would be nothing on it. It'd be a test page because you have to actually echo something into the thing here. And I'm going to put the instructor, because that's me. All right, so all we're doing here is we use the echo command. We're echoing out some HTML into this. Is a redirect caret here. It's a redirect operator, meaning dump this content into this file. And we'll make sure that that's separated. Yes. Into var www.html index .html. So that's the default location of your web server. And now everything looks good. So let's double check, make sure we're good here. Default, yep, I don't care. I want to auto sign, yep. And I don't care about any of this, and I don't care about the protection. And we're ready to roll. So I'm going to, one thing that you would, we can click on like add storage, I guess. We'll go through the motions. Typically you would just hit review and launch and go to town. If we hit add storage though, notice that we have this root volume and we can change it to 8, 10 gig or whatever, but don't worry, I want to show you how to change this if you mess it up. So we're gonna take the default 8 gig, no problem. We went general purpose GP2. GP meaning general purpose. IOPS is pretty low, it's fine. And we're good to go. Now tags, it's actually this good thing I went through. It's actually want to talk about tags. Now tags, they are nothing more than filters. They don't affect the functionality of an EC2 instance. So yeah, I can put name, and then I'll put like instructor. Sure, why not? You know, it really makes a difference here. But this is this key. It doesn't, again, it doesn't affect the functionality. I can leave this blank and nothing will happen. Security group is important. Excuse me. Now, we might actually already have some security groups, I believe. You notice I have quite a bit. I teach, so I've done this before. The key here is to create a new one. You want to give it a legit name so you know what this is. So I'm going to take EC2-demo. It has to be unique to your account. I'm going to make this now. We are not going to do SSH yet. That would be a different video. I don't want to confuse you, so we're just going to delete this. However, I am going to add a rule. Remember, we want a web server. So a web server is going to be, of course, it's HTTP, but it's port 80. We want TCP if we don't have a choice. I want anywhere. and it's going to default to both IPv4 and v6. And this is going to be web traffic. You don't have to put a name in there, but I do. So I want anywhere for this guy. Now the default outbound is going to be all traffic. All traffic can get out, but only some traffic can get in. In this case, we're only taking port 80. So I'll review and launch. You know, it gives you the once over. Yep, and all this good stuff. I believe we can go down here to your instance details and make sure that. And actually, this is important. User data is actually a base 64 encoded string. So if you do this programmatically using like Terraform or something, you actually can't just put the actual words in. It's base 64, but in our case, don't worry about it. All right, so we're all set. I'm just gonna launch this guy. Now here's the intro. We don't want SSH right now because it's a different video and it takes a little bit of setup for your system. So you can choose a key pair, or you can proceed to without a key pair and acknowledge that you cannot SSH it. This means you cannot SSH into your thing, and no, you cannot attach a key once the EC2 instance is created. So you have to rebuild this instance in the future if you want SSH access. But for now, we don't care because we're gonna do everything through the GUI. All right, so we're gonna launch instances. All right. So the here it's obviously launching, so we're just going to view instances. We'll wait, and it's an pending state. And if you go back to your dashboard, when it's ready, you actually see an instance running. So that's how we'll know. But let's explore while it's happening. Let's explore what's actually happened and what's been added here. So in this is your menu here. We're going to go to volumes. Notice that our volume has been created. It's 8 gigs. All right. Well, I'll show you how to change it to 10 here in a second. All right. And we'll go back to my dashboard. It should take about 2-3 minutes with a T2 micro. The bigger the instance, obviously the bigger the longer the wait. So here, if you click on this, we can go ahead and check this out. You know, this is when you click on it, you get your tabs here, your details. You get your IPv4. Don't click open address because it opens HTTPS. And remember, we did not add HTTPS to our system. We only added it to add HTTP. So when it's time to go here, we'll have to copy that. All right. And once it says ready, we can actually try to go to it. But while it's initializing, we can actually check something else. Here in your network, in your security, you want to scroll down and make sure our port 80 is open, and it is. All traffic is allowed, and it is. And if we've done everything right, once it's golden, we can actually go to it, and we'll see a web server. And we'll talk a bit about. We'll cover load balancers and target groups later in another video, but just so you know, target groups are new, obviously. You have to actually create a target group before you create the classic load balancer now, just the way it is. Right, and then what we're gonna do is also, I believe, we can actually check out now. It takes about 5 minutes to show up, right? But if you get a monitor and troubleshooting and get system log, there's this black screen that appears. And usually within like 5 minutes, you actually see some text here. Now, don't click connect because we didn't create any kind of SSH connection. So this will fail you. And again, it takes about 5 minutes. So if you see a black screen right here, you're totally fine. Don't worry about it. Just wait about 5 minutes and it'll show up. All right. Go back to here. Still initializing, which is fun. Now, system checks, actually, even monitoring, this monitoring tab will be pre-populated with CloudWatch graphs. As you see, it takes, like, again, this is also 5 minutes, it's 5-minute interval. So here, after it says good, within 5 minutes, you can go here and you'll see your utilization and stuff. This all gets sent to CloudWatch. CloudWatch. All right. Still initializing, that's fine. And we're good to go. So now that we're good, we can now copy our IPv4. And we can go to it in another tab here. This is hello from your instructor, so we're good. All right, and I'll close that. So now we know we're good. Let's say we needed more space. Well, the thing about this is you can't change the EBS volume while the instance is running. So to do this, we need to stop the instance. Do not terminate. Stop the instance. It takes about a minute and a half, 2 minutes to get this going. But while it's occurring, we can go to volumes. We can go to actions, modify volume, change this to 10. So now we're at 10 gig. Notice that the max has 16 terabytes essentially. Okay, I do want to modify. Okay, we're good. Refresh. Notice it says 10 now. All right, go back to our instances. We have a stopped one here. We need to start it, which is an instance state, start instance. Wait about we won't have to go through the whole thing because you saw that it indeed pulls up a HTTP page. Okay, so I'll click on that. I'll close these out. And once what we're going to do is once we verify that it starts up running, then actually we're going to go and do this now under details and storage. We're looking for 10 gigs. So you see that we modified the volume there, and we're all set. And now it says running now. So go back to our dashboard and running. And click here, and it's initializing, so it's not booting up yet. But if it were, you would go to system log, and once it starts to boot, you'll see this appear with text, and then that's EC2 instances. So once that's up, all you got to do now is go back to your instance. Choose it here, and then stop, and then terminate, and then that'll clean up all the stuff that we just created, and that's it. So again, that's EC2, and next time we're going to cover how to create one to SSH into, and then we'll do load balancing in another video. So look forward to seeing everyone there, and until next time, I'm out.